Okay, Kathy, so since we're talking about Excel, I know I don't have to put in all the formulas in to add these numbers. So what's the shortcut?
You know there is one, exactly right. So we're going to copy these formulas, and you know how to copy and paste. I know you know because we did that earlier, and you could do a copy paste for a formula, but in this case there's no need to. Because we're going to put it down the same column, we're going to use, as you guessed, a shortcut. So right now you're in cell F5. It has a sum function, and we just want to copy that sum all the way down so it adds up all the rows. Okay. So let's take your mouse and put it in the lower right-hand corner where the green box is. Black plus sign, we used this for autofill earlier. And now you could drag it down if you had nothing else to do, but we're going to double-click. So just double-click that.
Oh. That's even easier. Save me 2 more seconds.
There you go. Isn't that great? Go ahead and scroll down, and you notice that it just went down as far as there was data beside it, so it knows where the data ends. So let's go on back up to the top. I do want to mention something. Click in F6, please, which is the first copied formula. Go ahead and click on that one. That's row 7. That's fine. So notice what the function says. Look at the formula bar, and what does it say?
It says B7 through E7.
Now, the formula you copied was B5 to E5. So as you copy it down, do you see what Excel's doing? It's actually changing those references. It's not an exact copy. We have a term we use called relative copy. We're going to talk more about that later. But it's changing the row references, and that's really important to know that Excel's doing that.
Okay.
So I want you to click in G4 for your average. And then let's go ahead and copy that down the column.
There it goes again.
You've got the hang of that one. Excellent. And let's do the same thing for the high and the low. So you're just double clicking on the corner. Excellent.
There we go.
Good. Again, the less typing you do, your accuracy rate actually goes up. Excel is doing this correctly, so you've got some great functions in there. Well done. I do want to mention a couple of other things about just copy-paste equivalence. We know how to copy and paste, but you can use some other drag and drop options. So just go over to column L and M, where you have commission and the rate, 4%. Let's select both of those cells. If you decided you wanted those to be one row above it or down anywhere else, you could cut and paste, of course, but there's a quicker way. I want you to take your mouse and put it on the top border or the bottom border, either one, right there. See how your mouse changes a little bit into an arrow with the 4 little sprouty arrows? And then just drag that either up or down a row, you decide.
Oh, it moved.
It moved, exactly. So again, you could cut and paste, but drag and drop is also easier. So you can do that with one cell, or you can do that with a large range. My rule of thumb is I have to see where the data is and where it's going if I'm going to drag and drop it. I'm not going to take this data and try and drag it out to column Z, but I'm going to wander out in the wilderness there somewhere.
Yeah.
So I usually try and just drag it where I can see it on the screen.
Okay.
And one more trick for you. You could also copy the same way. And this is actually a Windows feature. When you hold down Control and drag something, there's a really good chance you're making a copy of it. So let's try that. I want you to hold down Control on the keyboard. You're going to point to the border just like you did a minute ago. Notice now how your mouse has the plus sign, and just drag that up.
Oh, there we go. Now I made a copy of it. Got it.
So holding down Control while you drag makes a copy. If you just drag and drop, it just moves it.
Okay.
So we're just going to delete that. We don't need to keep it, but I wanted you to know how to use the drag and drop. Now what I'd like for you to do is select the headings, F3 over to I3. So we're going to click in the word total, F3. You're going to hold down your Shift key, and you're going to click in I3 where it says lowest. So we are going to do a copy paste here, but I want to show you some paste special options. Excel has a lot of paste options. I'm just going to show you one right now, and then we're going to use others as we come to them. Okay. When we want to use the paste special options, we copy normally. It's the paste that's different. So just go ahead and copy it. What are some of the ways that you can copy these cells?
Control C.
Good. You could also right-click if you wanted, and that's just preference. So go ahead and copy the cells. Control C. Now you have the marching ants, which tells you that it's copied. I want you to go down to the last row of data, please. Just right around row 27. Click in A28. Now I want to copy those headings, but remember they were horizontal across? I actually want those headings to be vertical here. We're going to add more totals for the columns. So here's my little trick. I want you to look at the ribbon on the Home tab. The very first button says Paste. Don't click on it. Click on the down arrow below it. See the menu part of the Paste? Good. Lots of pictures, lots of options. These are what we call our Paste Special options. We're going to come back and look at a lot of these as we need them going through future lessons. But I want you to look on the second row. Third button over will say Transpose, and that basically means change from vertical to horizontal or horizontal to vertical. Okay. You could do an entire table. We're just going to do the headings. Okay. Go ahead and click Transpose.
And there it goes. It's vertical.
Exactly. That was a whole lot easier than pasting it and then trying to move them all around.
I agree.
Good. You have some formulas in here. You put in your total, your average, your high, and your low. And then, of course, you want to copy those across for the other 4 quarters. So I want you to select those 4 cells, please, those 4 formulas. Okay. And you still have that corner button, but you can't double click it. The double click only works going down, it won't work across. You're going to have to go to all the trouble to drag it across. But I want you to notice that we're doing 4 formulas all at once. You don't have to do them one by one. So go ahead and catch that green box in the corner, and we'll drag that over to column E. Good. Click in C28, please. So when you look at the formula bar, you'll notice that this one now says sum C4 to C27. It was B. And then if you were to look at column D, it's going to say D. As you copy it across, it's changing the column references. When we copied it down, it changed the row references. So it's exactly what it's supposed to do. This keeps it accurate. We call this a relative copy because it's using a relative reference. That means it changes when you copy it. That's all that means when we say relative. It means it changes when it copies it. So all these are correct. You've managed to copy your formulas. You've copied and transposed your texts. You've speeded things up, and you've got a great looking spreadsheet. Well done.